All right, let's get ready to rip. When you go to a tracker facility, it's not about the money in the track. It's about the people. Guys, I don't give a shit about anything but making this hobby better. You don't have to put them into a late model right out of the hit. Put them in a slash. Let them bang around on the bathtubs. Guys, it was a good weekend. I think everybody had a pretty good weekend. Um, a lot of rain. There's nothing we can do about that. This year has been that year. Rain has been the biggest problem we've had with anything. So if you haven't got rain, you're lucky because everybody else has. And most places have been rained out. What's up, Andrew? JJ says, "Oh man, JJ's having fajitas and margaritas." Um, so yeah, guys, it was a good weekend. We went up to Attitude, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I know a lot of tracks got rain. A lot of tracks, some tracks didn't get finished, some did, and we'll rock from there. So, guys, we're going to do a little different this week. You're going to see some different segments. We kind of segmented things out a little bit more to try to help everybody stay in pace with it. We will um, we will have some segments early on, and then about an hour in, we'll cut for RC Underground Radio. We are going to start cutting that just to give him less stuff to go through, but we will continue. So the conversation will continue. I'll cut his side. When I do that, it'll take me just a second. I'll put a thing up, and then we'll go from there. So not a big deal. Nothing to worry about. Nothing on your side to worry about. Just something that I have to do on my side. Okay. All right, guys. Let's do what we always do. We're going to get into tracks and what tracks did this week. Um, uh, Guys, it was really a busy weekend. Brad had a Friday night. I think he was supposed to do Saturday or something. He changed it to Friday or something. It doesn't matter. He ran a Friday night club race at BB Mods. 14 drivers, 26 entries. Farmer City had their race, the 74. 24 drivers, 56 entries. Raw had the Wild Thing race. TJ's trying to get some stuff going over there with the Wild Thing race, which is great. I'm glad he is. Uh, we need more people. Yes, I finished dinner, Mama. Um, we need people to promote the hobby, and I think TJ's going to do it. He has a voice, and he will speak out about it. So um, that's good for us as a hobby, and good for the Indiana guys, also, in my opinion. Raw had 42 and 70 at the Wild Thing race, so that was a makeup race too. So guys, makeup races are hard to do. Farmer had a makeup, and Raw had a makeup, both. So that's hard to do. Tough tough situation sometimes to get things together, and guys don't plan for it, but they want to race your race. So that's how it is. Leisure Hour High Road had the High Rollers race, 24 and 61. They did not get that finished up. They only got one round of qualifying in for it. Rained on them really heavy. I think Dwayne put out like 4 inches in no time, and I know there was a group of Kempton guys up there, and I talked to them, and they just got drenched. So um, definitely something that you got to worry about. We ran into it too, and we'll talk about that. Germantown had 19 and 45. They're having their Firecracker 100. I think they started that yesterday, finished it up today, or tried to. I think they got it in today, but they ran into rain also over in Danville area. High Bank, they ran the GLS series, guys. We're going to take a minute. Um, Jack says, "What's good night to bring down the sign?" Whatever day is good for you, Jack. Just except for Monday. Anytime after Monday, just give me a call or message me or whatever. Message me and I'll be around every night working on the track and getting things ready to go. Okay, come on down or let me know and I can meet you. So guys, the GLS series, Great Lakes Shootout Series, I believe is what it's acronymed as, is a 6 race series, May through August. I looked up numbers today, and I did not make it over one of the races this year. I think it's a great thing that they're doing, and their tracks have a really good understanding of what they have to do to keep things together. And with that being said, Um, they had a good turnout most weeks, right? They had a few short weeks, but that's going to happen, right? Heat, people doing things, vacations, whatever. You don't always get the same number. Total over the series, they had 670 cars with an average of 112 cars per race. Some of them are really big. I know the Craters' first two races was 141 and 141, so that's big numbers on car count. But um, I don't remember exactly where that was, but it wasn't that bad as far as um, time wise. Like 60 something in the middle of in the heat of the summer, June, July ish was whenever they had a little lull. But I mean, it happens. I think that was one out of Battlefield. So guys had a great turnout and a hell of a series, in my opinion. And I want to say, great job to the track owners for doing that. But in saying that, I'm not saying the track owners are the only reason why that happened. You have to be willing to travel. And I got to say thank you to every one of those 670 car owners for going out, putting in the effort to make the travel, to support the other tracks. And then again, like the tracks that didn't get as many, not being a baby about it um, and saying, I'm not going to the next one. So, uh, of course, I always look fancy. Um, you know, you should always put get as many guys together as you can to race another track. It run. I've heard it and heard it where guys are mad because other guys don't go to other guys' track. As a track owner, we've talked about it before. I encourage it. I want my guys to go. Right. I want them to be able to get out there and show support for the hobby and also show support for my track. So thank you to all the racers and the promoters of the GLS series. It just proves a little bit of hard work, a lot of love, and love you, babe. Um, I I think that those guys did a great job and a hell of a job for all the race owners, promoters, drivers, families, everybody in that whole series for being able to get that off with 6 races. Chili Bowl website crashed in the first 15 seconds. Might be a while for a minute to get on here. Oh, okay. Nice. I didn't know they were. I honestly didn't know they were going in tonight. That's crazy. I think he's been around long enough. That it's crazy that happened. Um, attitude, attitude had. That's where we went, guys. And 67 and 174 for the Mad Dog Championship, guys. I don't even know what to say. We went up there to Aaron's track. I told you guys last week we were headed that way. We went up there. It was good. The weather sucked, but them guys. Aaron has a crew just like the Kempton crew. He has a group of guys that help him and um, family members of that group that help tear down, take out, move, do whatever it takes. So that's funny that happened the way it happened. And I told on a live feed that we did with RC Underground Radio, who was also there, Dave. We talked about this, and I said, you know what, Dave? It's easy to do it when it's sunny and 75. You figure out what you got as a track owner, promoter, racers, and crew when it rains you out 3 times and you still get the thing done by midnight. Now, was it a long day? Yes, 100%. I did not stay for the whole thing. I had to get back for today to prep for my own race next weekend. We stayed through the second rain out is when we left. Um, and then they had one more after that later, another little delay. But it was 3 or 4 hours, but we couldn't get away. And once the rain went away, Aaron and his guys were really good. They pulled the tarp, they pumped the tarp off, covers the whole track. I learned so much about it, and I told Aaron, I said, I hate to see you going through this, but the reality of it is this is where you learn. you learn how to make it better. You learn how to do things, and I learned a ton from those guys. A great group of guys up there in Wisconsin, making shit happen, and I love it. I will make another trip. It's 3.5 hours for us. I know he's got a group of 4 or 5 coming down this weekend for the Shriner race, so that that is that is great for us and great for the hobby. Uh, a guy willing to travel like that and bring a group with him and a track owner on the same right is huge. We really enjoy um, going to other tracks. Me and the wife went. The boys stayed home this time, but me and the wife went, and we got it done. I mean, it was a great time. So good people, good atmosphere. If you guys get up to Attitude, yes, there is some changes you have to make um, if you want to race up there, but it is what it is. I mean, that's a 3.5 hour ride. I don't expect a 3.5 hour ride difference to have the exact same rules. Doesn't always work that way. Okay. So with that being said, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you have to get out of that and go to that other one. You know what I mean? And Aaron and his guys were good enough to make it happen and get that track together. So it was good. So, other than that, how was everybody else's besides wet? I'm assuming everybody was wet like us. We ran through rain all the way back from Wisconsin. All right. We're going to do the same segment we did last week where we have the group. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of races that are coming up. And in all honesty, it's pretty short. And hang on, guys, I'm trying to get some other stuff here. It's really pretty short uh, group this weekend. What's up, Matt? It's hot. They have great rules packages that works for them. Drake, you're 100%. Drake was up there. Drake's 100% correct. I would not say anything different than what Drake says right there. They do have different rules packages, and it is for them, right? That is their track. That is what works for them. I am not saying anything bad about that at all. Oh, GB, good Bruce locked his keys in his cars at Clover's, and that was the highlight of the last night. Nice. I was talking to those guys whenever that happened, or whenever they were getting ready to leave for that. That's funny as shit. Um, but Drake, yes, I agree. They have a rules package that fits their track. I think that track is a little smaller than ours as far as run line. Um, it seems like the straightaways are just a little shorter, but the corners are about the same. We might have a little bit more banking on one end because ours is different from end to end, but very good track. And I agree. The racing was good, guys. I'm not saying anything bad about it. Oh, and here's Bruce is on here calling Scoop out. Nice. I assume you got him out of there, Bruce, without busting a window, so that's good. I wouldn't expect it, Bruce. I might have expected out of another one if everybody knows what I'm talking about. All right, guys, let's flip it over here. We're going to go look at the new tracks or what we got coming up. 4 tracks, um, races that are coming up. Okay. We will, most everybody knows this race is coming. It is the Elite Series. It will be down in Jacksonville. Make sure if you are headed that way, and that's somewhere you want to be, make sure you're there. Those guys will do a good job. Um, Dan and Megan do a good job with that track. It races different because the way he does it, but that's fine. It's just another challenge for everybody to get it done. So that's gotta be a good race. Plenty of room, plenty of parking. Um, I think Kevin and TJ are getting around pretty well with how to get things done. I think everybody will be okay with that. It'll be interesting to see at this track to see what it does. And then I think they got one more left at Raw, and then they're going to go out to Layton. So there is some stuff to do still, but they're getting pretty close to the end of that deal. So Um, and of course, our Shriner race, guys. Shriners race is going to be a huge race for us. We are so excited about it. We are trying to raise as much money for the Shriners Hospital as we possibly can. RC Underground Radio will be here on property, so you will be able to hang out with Dave, talk to Dave, see what Dave's doing, and go from there. So that'll be really good. And then we're going to do some 50-50 drawing. We're going to do some live giveaways, auction off some stuff. Basically, it's going to be you're going to bet on the races, and if your racer wins, you're going to be able to get a ticket to win some stuff. We got baskets coming in. MR Custom stepped up thanks to Jesse. Those of you guys, Jesse McBeth, that runs with us, he was a kind of an OG here for the Kempton crew. And, Jesse reached out to Greg, and Greg was good enough to put in send us out 2 bodies. So that is huge for us, guys. Anybody that knows me and knows me well knows that that's something that I do not. Um, uh, yes, you can, Brian. Brian asked if he could pay my entry fee for a donation. Yes, you can. And thank you for that. Um, so, guys, we have MR Custom stepped up and sent us out a late model body and a street stock body, I believe, to put in as one of the baskets for the raffle. So we got to thank Greg for that. MR Customs helping out a good cause, and we don't expect anything, guys. We want everybody to enjoy the race as much as we can, but we do not expect anything. And yeah, PayPal's fine, Brian. I'll get it to you. But yeah, that's we don't expect anything, and I don't expect anybody to ever. I hate asking, guys. That's there's 2 things, and some of my guys that are here a lot have now seen 2 things that I don't like to do. One thing is I don't like to ask for anything. I like to just do what I got to do, and the other thing is I don't like to ask for help in anything. And when I don't ask for help because things happen, and then I have to fix it or I have to come back around it. And guys that know have been here for a while have seen that happen to me, and that's who I am as a person. I don't ask. And uh, for Jesse to step out and do that, and for Greg at MR Customs to come out and help us with that, hell yeah, come on with it. I love it. All right, so uh, there's a ton of people, guys. I'm gonna start putting out thank yous this week, hopefully, with baskets that we're gonna bid on, and then we'll do each heat, so nobody has to stay till the end. You can if you want. If you want one of them that's on the end, and you win the first heat, or your guy wins the first heat, the person you bet on wins the first heat, and you put your token in the baskets that is for the mains, and you have to stay when we get done. Okay, so make sure that happens and make sure we get that done. We'll explain it all. I hope to do a video this week. We will have a Shriners video coming out. Me and Trace sat down and talked. Um, Dave just put out there. Here you go, guys. RC Underground Radio will be giving away a Carpies Print Company custom pit mat, pit light, and custom design T-shirt. Your colors, your logos, your themes have to donate to Shriners in some way to be eligible. There it is. Thank you, Dave, for that. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get choked up talking about it now. Um, there's a lot of guys out there that think I'm an asshole, and I am. Um, but it's tough. This is it's no different than the Shriner game that we play baseball for. When I speak before that game, I'm the same way. I will be an emotional wreck at the beginning of this race. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people here, guys, not racers. So, as racers, show up and show out. Kids will be asking questions. Adults will be asking questions. If you don't want to answer the question or can't, there's people that can, and you know who those people are. I think this is the kind of stuff I do not know. Hang on just a second. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to buy something real quick too. Um, so I don't have. Um, I'll be a wreck because it means a lot to me. Um, they have checking out, babe. They have they've done so much for me and my family. So as I said before, we'd be in debt up to our eyeballs, but we'd do the same thing as we did this time, as they've done for us. So for us to be able to help give back any amount, the grinders that we've worked with in the past and I played baseball with are amazing people, and I know the RC community is just as amazing as they are. Here's the deal: we've done that thing for 12 or 13 years now. So when you're 12 or 13 years deep, guess what? It's a totally different ball game. So don't think that that's the same, right? Don't think that we're expecting the whatever number they put up last this year. It's an amazing number. Okay. I just if we give them back $3.72, I'll be happy. But everything that we give this weekend is going to go back to that. Okay. Enough of that before we get in more trouble than I already am. All right, guys. Whew. Good racing this weekend again, guys. We're going to go into another segment because so many guys have talked about it. And this segment is going to be called Tire Turmoil. All right. Guys, there's so many questions about tires. So many questions. So, with turmoil, here's what we're going to do. We are going to pick a subject every week and we're going to talk about tires. And here's what it is. We have, hang on, I got to get this back. Um, we have a question. It was submitted by somebody on the backside, which is no big deal. And the question is this, and guys, these questions are real questions that people have, and real questions that people are wanting to know. And the tire question of the week is this, and we have another question of the week, and we'll go through that too. But the tire question of the week is this: Does indoor tracks have should indoor tracks have only one tire as a spec tire? And the reason that question comes up as an indoor track is because the track can be a little bit more predictable. Not completely, but a little bit more predictable without the weather like we had this week, right? Without the sun baking it all day. The track can stay more consistent. Is that a true statement? Do you guys think that's why an indoor track should have, or should they have an option tire? Most of them seem to have non-option tires. They seem to have one pretty much spec, mostly quasis or sprinters. Uh, what do you guys think of that? Put in the comments. What do you guys think? Is that a reasonable idea? Let me get the question of the week too as you guys are going there. I think it is. I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think guys can have an indoor track has a little bit more predictability. They can really um, manipulate, I guess, their track in a different way sometimes than an outdoor can. Because I mean, if we get too much sun or too much whatever, that's where we're at. We can't do a whole lot about that, right? It's just kind of the way it rolls at that point. Like the Dixie Nationals, Matt Riker says, like the Nationals, I think it's good for last minute decision. Talk to me more about that. What are you talking about, Matt? I don't get it. I guess. I mean, I think like PTs runs quasis, right? That's all they run. And I think that's good because I think that they can keep the track pretty close every week in, week out. I haven't. Um, I don't know what limestone does. I honestly didn't look. Honestly, guys, indoor is not really my deal. But this winter, I'm going to dig in a little deeper just because of this right here. Because of what we're doing here. Uh, Tommy says should be a tire that's readily available and durable. Agreed. They named only one spec tire for the event coming up in around a month. Yeah, I think if you're going to name a spec tire for an event, you have to put a spec tire out there that is available, right? That you can get to, because a lot of people are going to be looking for that tire, and sometimes they can't get them. Let's see here. Get up here. Uh, Drake says when I was helping KRC, the track would change a lot with the temp outside and the humidity outside. The rules, tire rules really depend on what everyone in your area runs and how your track surface is. I like a single spec tire in places it doesn't work. I agree with that too. Uh, Drake, I think every track needs a spot. Um, I think if guys keep in line, and I'll show you a graph here in a minute of some stuff that I think you guys will be kind of surprised about. Maybe not. I think there is a tire or two out there that'll probably take 90% of the tracks that are out here in certain classes. And I think every class should have a different tire and maybe even a different manufacturer just because. Chuck Blair says spec should be spec. Even with sprinters, you can still play with too many compounds. Agreed, Chuck, but are you going to tech that? If I say you can only run quasis and sprinters and arrays, we'll say, since that's hot topic here, um, are you gonna check who's gonna tech that tire enough for compound? Right? That's where the problem comes in. And I mean, honestly, guys, I don't think everybody wants to deal with tech all the time. Every time you turn around, I think that's the biggest problem with it. In all honesty, is the tech is a problem. Dave says it's all about running money, raising money for the kids. Yes, I agree, Dave, and I thank you immensely, and you know that for doing that for the kids and doing that. That's exactly the problem. Good call. It is the problem, man. I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. No way to tech compounds, color dots come right up. Agreed, 100%. That's why you just have to run that spec sprinter if that's what you're going to run as a spec tire. And either you can't do anything about the dots, right? So you have got to figure that out and then give the guys the chance to be right on it. You know what I mean? Say they make sure they give you the right tire. You know what I mean? Or you get the right tire out of them. So let's see what the kids take tonight. Explorer. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get some stuff for the race this weekend from a guy. So um, but yeah, that is the problem, guys. That is the problem, and I think that's a really good question. You know, of what do you do? What you know, outdoor tracks. I think you need one or two tires, maybe even three. I like the three idea, um, but I agree they have to be durable, and I don't want to put tires on. I don't want guys to have to put tires on every lap, right? That's just not. That's really not what it's about. I mean, then it becomes more of a money game than you ever know when you're talking that way because then everybody has the same, everybody has the same opportunity. Yeah, but a guy's spending stupid money trying to figure out the tire he wants, and then that's where it becomes a problem. So I would not, I would not say that is um, a bad thing to have three tires because I'm sure some tires will work differently than others, at different times of the day or whatever. Guaranteed. Okay. JJ says tire prep can change a tire a lot too. Yes, but you have to watch JJ as you travel in some areas. And I know you're big up at the uh, up in Morris, but the thing about that is you have um, you guys run a spec too, and a lot of them won't even let you run that. No, no prep at all. So Joe Paints is part of tire wear. Also depends on the track conditions. 100%. Dry slick, you're going to wear them out a lot faster, right? If you're zipping the right rear, if you're zipping a tire, you're gonna tear it up. Yep. All right, guys, let's go. Question of the week. Question of the week comes from Jake Howard. Uh, and this is a really good question, and it's a question that's going to be debated and debated and debated because I don't know that there's a right answer or a wrong answer. That's why we're here, right? To talk about it and talk about it as a group. What is the ideal racing program? So, what race program is the best? What do you guys like the most? And guys, do not be afraid to stick your nose out there. What do you like? You like FMAR? You like racing for points for seating, race points with no seating, inverts, or resorts, 1, 2, or 3 heats? What do you guys like? That was this question posted on the page. Make sure you guys put yours in there so you get it too. Jason says, I don't mind open tire. If you want to carry a tote of tires, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Right. I think it becomes a money game at that point, Jesse, and that's huge for some people. That's why some people won't go to an open tire race. Right. That's and point blank won't go because of that. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys like? How do you guys like? How do you guys like the seating and the sorting? How do you like it? And how many heats do you think? Right now, three heat deal has become pretty popular, and I don't know why, but it has. RCU says if there's just two manufacturers like Goodyear and Hoosier and RC, would racers just figure it out? Wouldn't fast guys still be fast and hooked up? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Drake says we'll get back to you, Drake. Jesse says that's fair. I typically run one or two different types of tires or kinds of tires. Agreed. There's a lot of them that will spend. I talked to a guy that everybody knows. And I'm not putting a name out there because it doesn't matter. But I talked to him and he said he'd spend $2,500 tires if he had to just to be the best. And I agree with him. He would. I understand that. Drake says resort every round, big track FMAR, small track race points, 2 bumps every lower main. Okay. We run FMAR now. We're talking about doing points, and then we bump one. I like you to race for a win, not a second place. Ryan says, not a fan of seating. Rarely does the computer system end up working out. The rest of the format doesn't matter. Right. I agree too. Guys, I don't know. And me and Ryan have had this conversation when he was here, and he said it wouldn't make him not go somewhere because of how it seats, how it is. He's not going to not go somewhere because they have a different style timing system or a different way of running the program. That's what it is when you walk in the door. You know it. Dank said, "I wish we did 3 qualifiers, not 2. The 2 to 3 minute work with top 2 3 minutes work with top mains, top 2 bumping up." Okay. Chuck says a big race, 2 minute seating round, sort into the heads up heat races and then mains. Joe Payne said, I'd like to see a pill draw, IFMAR, 1 round heats, multiple rounds of heats, just burn up tires in time. Yeah, I mean, I see that too. But some guys will say, um, some guys like the 3 rounds or 2 rounds because they get more time on it. You know what I mean? I agree. I don't think 1 round of heats is where I'm at ever. But Let's see. Thanks said not a fan of seating rounds at all. A lot of people aren't. Chuck says club race, heads up racing, resort heat races, and mains. It says I do not like. I do not like seating rounds. I like race points, battle it out every round. I agree. I think that's what we're going to end up going to. Sammy likes the IFMAR. She thinks it sorts the drivers better. Both of us like 3-minute heat. Good to see you on here, Nathan. Jake, he put out there he doesn't like seating rounds either. Waste 2+ hours. Heads or IFMAR is good if the heat's like in it. He likes the inverted. Rick Taylor says hello. I'm sorry. Hey, Rick, no problem. We're jumping in it. We're talking about how you like the heats ran. IFMAR, heads up. What do you like? Drake says, I know it's part of it, but I'm getting tired of the 12 to 13 to 14-hour days. I agree, Drake. I just don't know how to fix that, except for doing um, races for certain classes to bring your number of deals down. You know as well as I do, you wouldn't have been up at Attitude as long as you were if it wasn't for rain delays, though. You had 6 hours of rain delays. Jesse says, I like more racing, the better. You can try something early in the heat and try something later. More bang for your buck. I agree. Uh, Josh says 3 2 minutes heats and then toss one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, guys, there's so many different ways of doing it. I don't know that you're ever going to get it. 2 qualifiers in a main, says uh, Andrew Baker, and that's how we do it, guys. 2 in a main. 230 lap heats in a main. Rick Taylor says, yeah. Ryan says, if Mark can take longer, guys will bitch if they don't get the same amount of water on a race. Agreed. Brogan says, skip practice, 1 round of hot laps used for seating, 2 heats and 2 and mains race points. Okay. Guys, I'll go back to the comments. I'd like to put a poll together kind of on this. And I'll put some stuff together on it if I get time. Maybe not this week, maybe next week, because the race is this week and I'm going to be slammed. But I'd like to just put it together just for guys to have information, okay? Because it's not hard for me to say. It's hard for some tracks to say. Tyler said, winter race this weekend seating round. Your seating time wasn't even a tiebreaker. Pretty much wasted 2.5 hours. Yeah, I seen you guys were down south there, Tyler. I don't know, man. I can say here at Kempton Speedway, seating rounds will not happen. I just even if we have 150 drivers, it ain't happening. I don't think. Jesse says, I like practice dudes like me who don't know what the hell he is doing, trying to figure stuff out. Agreed. Uh, you know how we do it here, Jesse. You've been here for a long time. It's second tiebreaker. It wins first. Says Jake to Tyler's comment. Ryan says that's 80% of the time at the best. Yeah, about the seating rounds. Not, yeah. Talking about Tyler's comment about seating rounds not meaning much. Matt says, I think race format is a way for the promoter to be creative. There's no perfect format. Let promoters be promoters and have fun racing toy cars with your buddies. Cuba says no seating rounds is what he's thanking God for. Practice is also a waste of 2 to 3 hours. Track changes too much. Why not use it? Seating and spread fast across the field. I agree with that, Son Broken. The only thing I have about that is it is so changing in the beginning. Guys, here, if you're coming to my track and you are wanting to get together early and try to figure out what you're doing, you're probably off. You will not be, I tell them, don't make a big change. I try to keep water on it, but as it comes around, um, then it's going to change again. So if you want grip, as soon as you get on water in it, we let you on it. As soon as it dries just a bit, you better get on it. That's the grip you're going to get. But Guys don't understand how much sometimes practice helps the track owner and the track. Here being an outdoor track and a fully outdoor track, sometimes it's good to get guys to knock the top off of it, right? So I had a guy when I said I was going to open at 2, not race till 5 or 6. The guy said, "Well, you got 3 or 4 hours of practice. Then don't show up that early. You don't have to be here at 2. Show up at 4. Put your shit down here. Let's go." Right? The 2 to 3 hours of practice ahead of time, you don't have to be here for it. That's the bullshit session for the guys that don't want to stay late. Because I promise you, after a race gets done at 1 o'clock in the morning, guys aren't getting home before 3, 4, 5 in the morning because we're sitting out here bullshitting. Now, in my opinion, when you get out here early in the race and you guys are just making laps, making sure your shit's properly working, hoping to grab that nice wet time, that that is your time to get around and talk to guys and figure stuff out, and especially the first time at a track. You don't have to be here that early. You can go, you can come in an hour before the race if that's what you need to do. Right. So the early practice times I like, and then afterwards we always leave the track open too. But the early practice doesn't make a big difference, but it does help knock the stuff off the track sometimes and get it to where you get better surface. Jesse said the bodies came in this week, and I'll bring them the race day maybe early. Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse, that's the one that reached out to MR Customs. Those of you that don't know Jesse, Jesse's been here for a long time, uh, and we thank you immensely, Jesse, for reaching out for that. Thank you. And thanks, Greg at MR Customs. I didn't get to talk to him this weekend at Attitude. He left after the first rain delay. So, all right, guys, good comments, good feedback on that for the question of the week. I'm glad that we got that in. There's more. I need more. Make sure you send them in. I have a few in the bag, but that doesn't mean anything. Taylor says most tracks say practice 2, racing at 4, and I'll show up at 12. A lot of guys do, man. There's a lot of guys that come early and want more time or want to do whatever. That's great. I'm here. Jesse says going to a great cause and wish more tracks did this. Jesse, you know where I'm at, buddy. You've been around me a long time, so you know where my heart is and what I do, and my son obviously means everything. So you know why I'm where I'm at. But the reality of it is this too. Guys, we're doing this. I'm selfish as hell this weekend with this deal. I'm selfish because I want to raise as much as I can for the Shriners. The reality of it is, I think we're going to bring a lot of people here to talk about this deal, talk about racing, be in the race, understand the race, and have a great time watching RC cars. And that's what we need. There's some way, we have to find some way to get more people. I'd rather find some way to get more people to the track. And I hope this helps with that too. Ryan said, I'd rather get to the track, fight the heat and bugs so I can see my race family and hang out. 100%, Ryan. 100%. What's up, Orange Crush, you Michiganite? I used early practice to get my mind race ready. And screws cars. Well, yeah. Some other people around here, if you know what I mean, get their mind right for it too. Uh, and, and yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, man, we haven't had a good Friday turnout, which is fine. But I'm missing guys, right? I mean, I love these Saturday big shows because we get to see more and more guys, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And thank you every racer that's come here because that's what it's about. Thank you for supporting us, helping us, doing what we do. And we try to give you guys the best facility and the best time we can, and a place for buddies to hang out and talk shop and bullshit and find new friends and make new friends. Um, I didn't get to speak to the guy because of the chaos. I mean, We were up at Attitude. Nobody had no sorry for what, Scuba. Um, nobody had uh, really a rhythm going because of the rain. I mean, we were racing and rain, racing, rain. I mean, it was crazy, but guys, it worked. They got it in and it worked out. But they had an announcer, and I don't know if Aaron's on here. He can tell me later if he's not, or maybe Dave's still on here and knows. The guy that announced for Aaron, and I don't know who he was, did an amazing job announcing. An amazing job announcing. So, getting into our topic of the day, that's what we're going to go to. Rick says, I have treats. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, Rick. I mean, it is what it is, man. You do what we do, what we do here. Steve says, well, it's not going on Friday. Hey, man, don't worry about that. Um, if you guys need time on the track on a Friday night, you know where to go. If you're racing somewhere and you want to do something else, man, don't ever feel sorry for not showing up to a race. And I mean that in the most genuine way. Drake says, Bud Reader from the 608 is one of the best announcers right next to McGee. Yes, Bud did a hell of a job. Aaron did good too. Yeah, I'm going to have to make it a 608. Matt says McGee should be paid to announce more races. Yeah, he probably should be. But you can't keep a track open anyway, and you're wanting to pay him announce. So that's why. I, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying that's the reality of it, right? Truth. Bud happened to be there racing, and that's why he announced while Aaron raced. Aaron did a good job too. I'm not saying that, but they both did an amazing job keeping everybody informed. Um, they did get around to call car color, number, and name. I really enjoy. I think that is the best way to do it. And Ben Ice told me that years ago, and I put it on the RC Underground. If you guys didn't check that out, go over the RC Underground YouTube page. The teaser's on there every Friday. Let you know what we're talking about. So go over there and check that out. When I did put this one out, I mentioned Jason then too because I didn't know anything about it. My guys didn't say anything. The reason we didn't say anything is because we know each other. We all race together. So I would call Scuba or Jeremy or Purple or Butch and everybody. Not everybody knew all these guys. So we started calling car color and number and how that works, and it'll get better. You know, I would love to have a guy coming out. I don't know that. I'd say I would love to have a guy coming out, but man, I'm hard to. It's hard for me to let go. So I don't know that would happen. But I'd love to have somebody step in for a while and do it just because. I think that'd be pretty cool. So just something different. What do you guys like to hear? I did listen to some of uh, Michael's stuff. Somebody put a video out with him on it, and I did listen to some of his stuff. I like the way he calls it. Uh, calls the action more than the incidents, I guess. In the mod stuff, it's a little easier, and some of the other stuff you got to really call a wreck, in my opinion, because you have, just to get as good a race as you can. So, but what do you guys like to hear from the announcer? What's your thought on what do you like to hear from the announcer? Do you like to hear how many laps you're left, how many laps you're on? Obviously, most people want to know where the leader is. Ryan says, "Get Michael to." Ryan's Matt's telling Ryan to get Michael out for the fall brawl. It's nice to know what lap you're on and where the leaders are. Rick says, "Yeah, I agree. I think that's the minimum, right? I think you have to be there. Uh, I think a lot of it. Race one is up. Race two, are you ready? Yes, and I learned from Aaron this weekend on how to do that better, and I will be doing that differently. Ryan says the more people you meet and the more consistently people show up, it will get way easier to announce, and people on the stand will understand. Agreed, 100%. I mean, I can call out 12 or 15 cars right now. You know what I mean? I could call them out because they've raced them, and they're not my Kenton crew. You know, they're not the guys that are there. Car color number. When you travel, it's easier. You know where the leader is when you don't know everyone. Yes, I agree, Andrew, and that's what we're talking about. I think that's a huge part of it is to get to know that and have everybody understand it. Rick says in a race last night, hardly any talk, no laps, and it was boring. It is, uh, guys. I try to keep it uh, up unless there's a problem. I'm gonna call myself out. The mod race last time, I didn't call the race very much because we had lap problems. We fixed that, I hope. So that should be a good in good shape for not happening this time. So we should be good to go with that. But the reality of it is it is what it is, right? But I try to do the same thing, and I just found out last weekend from Cuba. Kevin Smith says the little ad lib is good, but don't need to know how much air is in Bobby Joe Professor. Yeah, exactly. Right. You don't need all the bullshit, right, Kevin? You just if there's a good move, you call it. If there's a good, somebody is racing for a position and it's a good race, I like to call that. Let them know that hey, our closest is right here, and this car and this car. We're gonna call them out here. 12A of Josh Alvey and 51 of Jeremy Jeremy Morris. They're in third and fourth, but that is our best race. So Matt says it's nice that when a second announcer chimes in where the wrecks are at. Agreed. Ryan says, example, us mod guys came in there like a tornado. Cars you weren't used to, but you paid attention and did a good job. Last weekend was probably the two worst announcers that I've ever walked around. That never walked around. We never got told anything important during the race. That's I'm sorry to hear that, Ryan, and thank you for the good comments for this track. Um, I'm just a hillbilly that likes to have people come out and have a good time. So I do talk to a lot of people, and I do try to understand as many people as I can and get as much as I can from that. So um, it is what it is. If you don't learn, then you figure it out. And the way you figure it out is you start meeting people and you start talking to people. And I didn't know any of these guys before this started, as I've said many times before. And now I have guys that I can call at any time about a question and get it handled or get an idea about it, right? Let's just throw some comedy in. I was called Ricky Ticky Tater Tot. That's all right. And Kevin Smith says, "Yeah, hey, it is. It was. I've never done it. I've never had mod any except for we have 4 or 5 that night. Matt was out. Matt and Kevin. I think Jason threw his on that last one. But as far as a big group of mod guys, I never had it. And whether you guys want to admit it or not, um, the mod guys aren't like we. I don't put you guys on a pedestal, but you guys have been around a lot and you're good at what you do. So I listen to everybody. As a matter of fact, Scuba brought it up the other night when we were talking. The south end of the track had no power. I never thought I'd need it. Well, we get these big races going. There's not enough power, so I end up putting a power supply down there. I put 4 pole out there, so you guys got 4 plugins down there. Plus, you have the driver stand. Uh, oh, and then we got it off the house, and Scuba came to me last week. That's why you guys see the post that thanks Scuba. Scuba said on the big end down there on the south side, you couldn't hear the speakers. You couldn't hear me talking, telling guys what race is coming up. So we ordered speakers. and we got new speakers put in and a different PA put up. We might run two PAs. I just need to know if we can hear it, and we'll test it. But track owners have to listen to the guys that are there, and as I put in the post, Scuba didn't bitch. He came to me and said, "Hey, man, um, I think we need some speakers down there because we can't hear you." I was down there talking to somebody because he picked up by the front here, and he said, "I couldn't hear you, so what do you think about speakers?" And I said, "Okay." So I ordered some. It, because he didn't think about it. If a guy came to me and just raised a bunch of hell, guess what? I would have put speakers in. But if you come to me in a civil manner, as you would most track owners, then that's the way it is. They would probably do it. Scuba says, "I don't even pit down there." Yeah, but my Kempton guys want what's best for everybody, in my opinion. So that's why they're my Kempton guys. I mean, that's the long and the short and in between. Uh, most, all, if not all of them, are out here to help the hobby get better and win some races, have a great time, and bullshit with the guys. I have a friend that is. Thanks for the power on that south end. No problem, Weasel. I mean, we made it happen before, but as you get more and more, you gotta help. You gotta help that situation. So, but yeah, so that's just it, guys. I mean, so hopefully the announcing will be helped down there. Kevin says, track owners have a thankless job, but they can't fix anything without some constructive respect for person. Agreed. So, um, to that point, I didn't know. I'm announcing. How do I know that you can't hear on that end of the track, right? Um, so when he said something, I'm like, well, shit, I didn't know that. Let's go, So we put speakers on the driver's stand now. Hopefully that'll help the drivers also hear a little bit better at the driver's stand. If not, we can work on something there too. But for the most part, I think it should help everybody on that end of the track getting better. So it's fun. I mean, I'm great. I think it'll be really good. Um, in the wintertime, we're going to do some more criticism. We're going to use some more of that constructive criticism and make some more changes to make it better. So, all right, I'm going to do one more. I want you guys to see this. So, we talked last week about classes. We are always talking about classes. We're always talking about rules, blah, 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 blah. That's how we do it, right? I mean, everybody's worried about a rules package all the time. Well, guys, I did something this week to see if we could make a difference in this. Maybe show some guys some stuff. So here it is. I went and looked through the um, Buggy Street stock at 18 different tracks. I was gonna I was going to hide names, but I don't care, and they shouldn't either. It's their rules. I just put them together. So we'll start at the top with us, just because I knew our rules. So Kinder Speedway has open tire rule this year. It will not be next year, and that is the rules that Kinder Speedway puts out. That's just a highlight of it. Okay, nothing crazy. Then I put Brad's, BB Mod, Cedar River. But you look, most guys are just stock in 60 amp ESC in this class. Most of us are. Okay, not all, but most. Um, Cedar River, they run up to a 21.5 roar and roar approved ESC and blinky. Same way with Leisure Hour High Road, they run a roar approved blinky, just stock 13.5 motor, but the different blinky. Uh, Crater runs 13.5 roar and open blinky. And then everybody else pretty much runs it. High Bank, they run blinky and a 13.5 roar, same as Crater. And then Germantown runs some 12 turn stuff. I think that's probably not many. and then for the tracks and stuff, and then 13.5 just now. So the tire rules really what got me thinking more than anything. So we were always talking about tires, right? And what is the tire rule and where the tire rule should be. And with that being said, just a second here, get my mouse back here. Um, Look at the tire rules. There is not a lot there. Most of them are quasis or sprinters. There's a few banditos, hot laps, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's all the same, right? So that's kind of interesting to me. So Brad runs a big array of tires. Um, Attitude's changing theirs next year. They're getting rid of the one class they're running. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of it looking in that way where you can really see what it is? They're not that far off. Cedar River does run that stranger where they're running they'll let you run grass hubs on it and that up to 21.5 roar, and then Leighton runs a 21.5 to a stock open blinky and but still runs quasi. So really, in my opinion, the tire rule is about the same. What do you guys think? Is that something that you guys knew, thought? I know, Kevin. We talk about them every damn week. That's why we got tire turmoil now with a burning pile of friggin' tires. But it's just something I really thought. Um, I really thought it was just something else that we could do, and I'm going to try to do that weekly until we get through all the rules and just another class just to see what everybody's doing. I want to see it personally. Um, with that look right there at those tires and how that's ran, you would be dumb as a track owner if you didn't um, if he didn't run a quasi somewhere, right? If your track didn't allow quasis or probably sprinters, I mean, most people allow those. Attitudes run that DEG G16 Mini. I'll be interested how that does. Drake says, I like how if a guy is determined enough, he could race his car anywhere. 100%, Drake. There's not much of a change. Uh, Weasel said, Dustin sure did make the rounds. Yeah, yeah. Well, you get five tracks on board, man. It's hard to get out of it, right? Because you don't want a guy to have to buy a tire just for your track. I mean, it's hard as a track owner. That is a Ryan says, I think indoor is easier to prep for tires and should need less options. Outdoor can be different. Way more weather, curveballs to deal with, and then some days you can't win a fastball to the nut. Well, yeah, you're going to just beat the tire off of it, right? I mean, who wants to put a tire on every round? Not me. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to go through tires that fast. Thanks for listening to In My Opinion. Don't forget to join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central on Kempton Speedway Facebook page. Catch our highlight show dropping Wednesdays on RCU Radio's YouTube, Spotify, and all major platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.